Hello there. My name is Petros Chrysojos, and I want to welcome you to the first ever episode of That's What P Said. I am super excited to sit in this chair and share with you my sometimes crazy takes, controversial opinions in the world of sports, and especially college tennis. And I hope you stick around for more. This podcast is meant to be educational for some, funny for others, and I want this to be a dialogue between me and you. It's gonna be a monologue basically because I'm by myself, but eventually I will love to have people call on the podcast, and I would love to answer the questions you guys have. And do not get too emotional about this episode today. Honestly, it's basically what P said, so it doesn't really matter. It's just my opinion about stuff, and if you disagree, please tell me. I love to argue. Question for today is college good for you? Now, yes, it is. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. I'm just kidding. Is college tennis good for you? This is, for me, it is a very easy answer, and I'll explain why. The majority, and I mean the vast majority of tennis players that live in the world today, right now, should go to college. And I'm talking, when I say vast majority, I'm talking about 99, I'll go 98%. I'll go 98% for sure. They should go to college. And I could go more than that, but I'm just, maybe if I leave half a percentage, it's not going to sit well with other players. So let's just say 98, 99%. There's many reasons for this. One of them is how good you are. I hear a lot of tennis players say, "Oh, I'm so good. I want to go pro. I'm just so good. I want to just go play professional. I don't want to go to college. College is crap." Well, first of all, you're not good enough. You're not good. You're just practicing at some money-making academy. You're wasting all your money. Nobody cares about you. No coach cares about you. Players don't care about you probably, and you're just paying them, and you will end up wasting so much money, and you're gonna improve just a little bit, and then you're gonna go play futures and challengers, and you're gonna see that, guess what, you're not good enough. So that's one. If you're not good enough, there is absolutely no reason for you not to try to go to college. Now, I understand not everybody can go to college, but there's nothing wrong with going to an average D1 or even D2 schools. I hear people saying, "Oh, I don't want to go to D2 school." Why? It's better going to school than not going to school. What are you talking about? You can also go to a D2 school and then transfer to a D1 school. There's nothing wrong with that. It just makes sense to me. I mean, I'm definitely biased. I give you that. But what is your excuse not to try at least to go and play for a university that will give you either full scholarship, half scholarship, some scholarship, or even no scholarship, and play the sport you love? And you'll probably go there when you're 18, and then you probably leave there when you're 22, 23, and you'll be better than what you were before. Now, that's debatable, but it depends what you want out of it. If you want to go to college and party all the time, more power to you. There's many reasons people go to college, but if you want to play professional, it's a good path to take, because one, you might be not good enough, as I said before, and you're probably not good enough. Many people weren't good enough, and they didn't go to college. They tried to play pro, and they're either 27 and retired and have nothing better to do with their lives, or they're 29 playing futures in Sharm el-Sheikh and Cairo and Antalya, can't make any money. If they quit, they will have to take on coaching because they have nothing better to do, and they have nothing else to do. They don't know anything else. All they know is tennis, and that is it. If they break their legs, knock on wood, tomorrow, that's it. That is it. So I don't understand. And then third, you might not even have the money. do you think all the players in the world have the money to follow professional tennis? No, they don't. That is why a lot of them choose college. But yeah, and every time I go to so many futures and I see these 16, 17-year-old kids, and I'm talking to them. I'm trying to talk to them. What do you think about college tennis? Do you think it's a good path for you? Do you think it's something that you might want to do? And their first response is, no, my federation has money. Okay, your federation has money. Quite a bunch of federations have money. What does that mean? Even if your parents have money, even if you have a sponsor, so what? You have to also be good enough to play professional. If you're 17, 18 and you're playing futures and you can't win a round and you're playing, 35 weeks a year and you're not getting anywhere, what's the point? What is the point? Are you trying to waste your money for a year or two so you can have like a final and semi on other futures with the hopes of getting into challengers in 3 years? I mean, that's an okay path if you want to spend like, $150,000. But if you're good enough to win rounds in the futures, you're most probably good enough to get a good scholarship at a decent university for free. Then you can play, you can study, and guess what? What is the best part of all this? That pisses me off, like next level. If you think you're good enough, and you're not sure yet, but if you think you're good enough, okay, and you tell me, yo, P, I'm so good, I don't want to go to college. And I say, well, dude, what if you go to college, try it for 6 months, try it for a year. If it's not good for you, if you don't like it, go play professional. No harm done. You think you lost 6 months? No, there's plenty of universities that will send you to play professional tournaments while you're studying. So you're not going to miss a thing. You're not going to miss one bit. I know what you'll be missing out on a lot of fun if you go pro before you go to college, if that is for sure. I can tell you from my experience, playing futures is not even sometimes, most of the times, freaking depressing. So depressing. Like sometimes you gotta find so much self-motivation, which I can and I do, but I bet you so many players can't. It's tough. And tennis should be a fun sport. It is fun when you're playing in the US Open, Arthur Ashe, so many thousands of people watching, and you're playing a night session. Oh my God, that's fun. Well, when you're playing in Sharm el-Sheikh, finals at 3 p.m. on a Sunday, 42 degrees Celsius, with 5 people watching, including the referee and 2 lines people, no fun. No bueno. No bueno. Nobody wants that. Even challengers. The level at challengers sometimes is a joke. By joke, I mean it's good. So good. Like people watching there do not understand that those players are just this far away from making it to like the players that you and I know. They're just so close. Some players are 120, some players are 105, some players are 150, 200, 250. The difference is not that big. And I understand I'm not a regular challenger guy, but I can tell you I play challengers. Those guys are not that far away from being top 100. Because I played a couple of top 100 guys. They're good, don't get me wrong. Some of them kick my ass, but not that far away. And if you have a guy that's trying to make it at 120 and he's playing a challenger with 5 people watching, unless you make it to the finals, okay, I understand. You can get some crowd when you get to that point, but you need to make it to the finals. But going back to my initial point, college was the most fun thing I did in my whole life. And I was there for like 3.5 years. I wish I had 3.5 more, but I don't. And nobody does. Your time is limited. If you don't go now, you can go later. I mean, you can go to college, but not college tennis. So I don't understand. Why do you think being 1,000 in the world at 18 years old and playing full time, you have a good chance of making it? Surprise, surprise, you don't. You don't. Might as well just find a okay university, go to college, play college tennis, have so much fun doing it, and then try play professional if you can, if you're good enough. Now, my next point is, how do you choose a college? How do you pick where to go? How do you know which one is good? Where do you go? Why do you go there? What do you look for? Great questions. Well, I can't tell you how many times a guy came to me and said, dude, I want to go to college, but the parties have to be good, man. The parties have to be good, and the girls have to be good, and the weather has to be good, and this has to be good, that has to be good. Nothing to do with the team or the coach. They just care about party, which fair enough. If you're good enough to play tennis and you want to use your level of tennis to go get a decent university degree and party at the same time, I can't stop you. More power to you. You can do what you want with it. I just think you might regret it. Simply because those 4 years that you're studying, you can get so much value out of that university in terms of people you meet, resources, connections, how much you can improve, how much you can give back to the community. There's just so much more. Now, if you're thinking about just partying, which you can do, I mean, if I went to the, University of Miami or University of Santa Barbara, I would have had, my time there would have been amazing. But I wouldn't be nearly as good as I became when I went, before, after coming out of Wake Forest. Nowhere near, simply because, nothing, no hate to the University of Miami, but a beautiful school. I'll be having pool parties every day and beach parties and girls and drinking and all that. I mean, there's just so many distractions. And no matter how good you are, how focused you are, it is so easy. It's so easy to get carried away. Just so easy. And it's just not worth it. But yeah, that's the main reason I went to Wake. Well, the number one reason I went to Wake was the coach. And that is the one thing everybody should care about. The coach is number one. Not saying everybody should go to Wake, but I'm saying the number one thing you should, as a player wanting to play college, is the coach. Not the players, not the courts, not the weather, not the girls, not the size of classes, not the state that is in. The coach. The coach can have the greatest impact on you than any other variable in college. The number one. That should be your priority. Then we can talk about, hey, I don't like the team. I don't like the courts. They only have indoors. They don't have outdoors. They only have outdoors. They don't have indoors. The conference sucks. What else? The weather sucks. I don't know. Whatever. The coach should be number one. If the coach is good, and I mean good for you, because there's good coaches that I'm pretty sure I wouldn't fit in with. Even though they're great guys, great coaches, it just wouldn't work. For whatever reason. Now, I don't want to name names because there's plenty of good coaches out there. Plenty of bad ones too. I can tell you that. But there is a way to find who's a good coach. And you can ask around. You have so many resources. You can ask alumni. You can ask people that played against that coach. You can ask previous assistant coaches that work for him. You can ask a million people to find out if the coach is good for you. Now, do you know that if you go to college, do you know if that coach is going to stay? No, you don't. I remember when I was recruited, Jeremy Feldman at the time and Tony Bresky were trying to get me to come to Wake. And both of them flew to Cyprus. They wanted to meet me. They wanted to meet my parents. Well, it worked. But actually a huge reason I went to Wake was because of Jeremy Feldman. And I came to Wake, played for a year. He was assistant coach. A year later, he leaves. He left. He went and got another job at a different university. Now, if I was a crazy dude and said, oh, I don't care, Jeremy's leaving, I'm leaving too, which you shouldn't do ever, I could have been somewhere else right now because I was stuck with that thought that I went there because of the coach. That means the coach is gone. That means I'm gone. It doesn't work like that. Now, I have seen coaches trying to play this is my best behavior card. I'm the best coach in the country. We deserve everything we have. And I'm the best there is. I'm so kind. I'm so nice. I'm so chill. Then you don't know better and you're talking to the coach through Skype, Zoom, online, texting, whatever, emails, whatever. And he's playing this act. He's just acting that he's the nice and kind and all that crap. Then you get to the university, he's a completely different person. It's like, we're going to have 6 a.m.s every day. And if you throw your racket, we're going to have 6 a.m. again the next day. And if you say this, if you say that, we're going to... Hey, if I wanted to go to a Navy SEAL camp, I would have gone to a Navy SEAL camp. Now, I understand discipline is important. That's why you have discipline, so you can get shit done. But some things are super unnecessary. Now, I understand it works for some programs, but I'm telling you, tennis is an individual sport, all right? If you have 10 or 15 guys on the team that come from different backgrounds, they're just different. They don't understand stuff the same way that I do. And I don't understand stuff the same way that they do. There's some words that you shouldn't tell them, but you should tell me because I'm chill and they're not, or whatever it is. You cannot behave the same with everyone. You have to take care of each player individually. And the teams that don't, and the teams that have this mentality that the more the better, and the harder the better, and have no chill, and they don't adapt to the situation, it is always their way, and that's it. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to be successful. They can be good. They can be good enough. They can even be amazing at sometimes. But they're not going to win championships. At least not over time. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you. I don't think UVA, when they won 3 championships in a row, I don't think Coach Ballin was the strictest coach of all time and had them like soldiers, and it did not feel like the army there. I didn't play for UVA, but I can guarantee you that. You can ask the players. I mean, I haven't talked to them about their situation at UVA, but I guarantee you, I fully believe that they have some control and some freedom as to what they wanted to do as players, because Coach Boland and many other coaches that I understand that they have to know what's best for the player, and it's usually what the player thinks is best for the player. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. That's why you should have a conversation with the player and say, hey, what do you think about this? I think this is the better way. What do you think? Is this something you would like? That's a better way of taking on a player and improving a player, other than, this is what we're going to do. You're going to play T, and you're going to drop shot, and you're going to lob, and then you're going to hit a twinner, and then you're going to finish the point on his forehand. Now, that's a very kind of narrow-minded perspective, I would say. But guess what? It works with some players. Like some players are just soldiers, and you need to tell them what to do, and they will do it to the point, to the T. They will just listen to it, and they will do exactly as you say. I don't like that. And Coach Bresky knows that. He knew that. And then he knew his players perfectly. Now I'm kind of deviating from what I initially told you about college tennis. But these are important points for someone to decide whether to go to college or not. College will give you what you put in. If you go in thinking that everyone is shit and is not good enough, and that's why they're playing college and they're not playing professional, you're gonna get your ass kicked. I guarantee you. There are so many good players that you cannot beat. So many. If a guy, let's say, I don't know, if a guy that's ranked 300 in the world right now, 300 is a decent he's almost playing quality challengers. He comes to college, all right, and plays one for some team. I'm telling you, he's gonna be really good. Don't get me wrong. He's not gonna be undefeated. There will be times where he's gonna lose, and then people like ranked around 8, 9, or even 1,000 don't think they should come because they're too good, and they can't win a match in futures, and they can't win a round in challengers, even qualies, and they come and they play 4 or 5 or 6 for a team and they don't win. And what the hell are you expected to do in challengers and futures? What the hell? I mean, I don't understand that. If you take, let's say take ACC right now, which is the conference that I'm most familiar with, right? So you take the ACC and you take schools like UVA, UNC, Wake, Duke. I mean, back in the day, they were a powerhouse. You take their number one player in the last 5 years. They're number one, just their number one. I don't want to move down the lineup so I can make it easy for you. All those guys that are number one play number one for Wake, which was, let's say, Borna, and then UVA was Ty, and then UNC was Blumberg, and then Duke, maybe I could say Nico Alvarez or something. Those guys could be top 200, top 300. That's the level. That is the level. And you're telling me that if you're 800 in the world and you're 20 years old, you're good enough and you shouldn't have come to college. That is nonsense. That is nonsense, and I'm trying to change your mind, but I don't know. The more I talk about it, I'm getting more pissed. But yeah. Now, the other question would be, which college do I go to that is going to give me the best opportunity to get better and follow professional tennis? Now, I know that's a little bit tough to debate, because how do you know? How does anyone know? I didn't know that Wake is going to be the best choice for me. And you shouldn't know. You will know at the end of the 4 years. If year one is a disaster, you can transfer. Nobody's stopping you from transferring. But I understand it can be a difficult choice. And I know many friends of mine have transferred all over, from Hawaii to Texas, and then back to Miami, and then from Nebraska to Elon, and it's all over. I mean, the majority of people who transfer, okay, I think is because they either don't like the coach, or they had a fight with the coach, or they had a dispute with the coach, and they didn't solve it the right way, or it was a consensual divorce, if you like, and they just moved on to a different university. That's one. Or they didn't like the team and they didn't like the school, so they're like, I'm out of here. Now, when people ask me, should I go to a better university and either play lower in the lineup or not play at all, or go to a worse university and play 1, 2, 3 in the lineup? Now, that's a difficult question. It depends what you want out of it. If you want to get better, I would highly recommend going to a worse university. That's my bad. Going to a better university and playing lower in the lineup, so you can have way more players better than you that you can practice, and they're better and you can get better because of them, and they can push you hard and they can advise you, and you know, it's a domino effect. One brings the other. Now, if you go to a worse university and you play 1 or 2, nothing wrong with that. You'll be the start of the team. You'd probably be the captain, and what's next though? I mean, the margins that you have to get better and improve are probably so much smaller. I mean, who's gonna make you better? If the coach is semi-tanking and he's just doing his job just to keep the job, that guy can't make you better. If you're playing 1 and the rest of the team is not good enough for you, they can make you better either. The only way that you can get better is if you move on to a better university, you play lower in the lineup, let's say 4, 5, 6, and then you have a goal that by the end of the year that you graduate, you can finish in the top 3. That's a better goal than being 1 and staying 1, in my opinion. However, if you play 1, that means you're going to be playing with other ones, and then you're going to get better through them. That happens like once a week. You're going to play teams maybe twice a week, whatever your schedule is, but you play teams once or twice a week, and then you play guys that are good enough or better than you, and then you can improve there. But there's just so much more time you're missing out during Monday through Friday that you can practice with the rest of the guys. I just don't see it happening. I don't see you getting better. And if you do get better, it will be this much. Like not even a little, like just a little bit, tiny bit. And it's not worth it. It is not worth it. Now, if you do want to be the star and you don't want to put so much effort into it, let's say you're somebody, I don't know, ranked 400 in the world and you're 17, 18 years old, you can probably get any scholarship you want in the US, but it matters because do you want to go to a university such as, I don't know, Wake, UCLA, or do you want to go to a worse university in terms of tennis, and play 1 and just try a minimum effort, put a minimum effort in, still be playing number 1 because you're just better than the guys no matter what you do, and you won't be trying hard, but you still be 1, you still be the star, you'll also be the captain, you can party hard, and then you'll just be fine. So you can do that too. I mean, I'm not judging people for doing that, but this is I'm specifically talking about people that want to play professional. If you want to play professional, you shouldn't do that. You should go to a university where all the players are good and they have the same goal and they're willing to work and they're motivated to win. I think that's way more important than you going to university playing 1, be the star, win all your matches, have a record for the school, and be a stud that way. You can do that, more power to you. I just don't think it's going to be good for you in the long term. But that's a different conversation. Now, we talked about why you should go to college. Many reasons why, and I hope I covered a lot of them. Now, why should you not go to college? This is also a good question. Now, I think that if there's maybe 1, 2, I'll try to give you 3 reasons why you shouldn't go to college. Number 1, you're insanely good at tennis. You're like a unicorn. You're like Tsitsipas, TFO, Fritz, that they just peaked too high too soon, and they didn't have the time to transition, and they knew they were good enough for the tour, right? Those are unicorns. Those are not everyday people, right? So stop comparing yourself, the average tennis player, with them. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So that's one, you're good enough. Number two, very important one, money. Do you have the financial support to go into a full year, 2 years, 3 years on the tour? Do you have the financial help to have a team, at least a coach, and maybe a physio, to go and play professional? Now, I'm guessing most of you don't. You don't. It costs a lot of money to support yourself, pay for a coach, pay for this, pay for that, string in food, hotels, flights, blah, blah, blah. We know that. So much money. So much money. Now, if you have a federation, such as the USTA or Tennis Australia, Tennis Canada, whatever it is, big federations that have a lot of money, and you get into their philosophy and their program and they give you money, you can also do that. Because I doubt they want you to go to college. I mean, if you're good enough to play pro, they will be very dissatisfied with you if you decide to go to college. Just because they're willing to give you money, I'm guessing they're willing to give you a coach. I don't know the exact specific and logistics. If you get picked as a USTA player, what do you get? What are you allowed to do? But I'm sure there's some privileges that you get along with it. Now, we talked about being really good, talked about having lots of money. The other thing is probably, do you want to play pro? Do you want to choose that path? Or do you want to go to an amazing university for free and get a world-class education? Now, I understand that life's short, and if you're good enough to play professional at 17, 18, and you have all this money idea in your head that, oh my God, if I go play professional for 2-3 years, I'm gonna make so much money. I'm gonna make millions of dollars. It's like the equivalent of that is like a college basketball player or football player he knows that he's gonna get drafted. He knows he's gonna get picked by one team, and then his contract is gonna be just a stupid amount of money. So it's tough to say no to that. Not many people say no. I can't think of any of my friends saying, if I told them, hey, do you want to go to Harvard and study law? Let's say they wanted to study law. Do you want to go to Harvard, study law? Or do you want to get picked by the Golden State Warriors and sign a multi-million dollar contract for 3 years? They will say, I'm going to go play basketball and then I'm going to go get my Harvard law degree. It makes sense. It just makes sense. That's my 2 cents on this. I hope I covered everything on the agenda for today. This was a little bit easier than I thought. This is my first podcast, so please be nice to me. Be kind in the comments. If you comment, please do. Be nice. Yeah, I thought this was gonna be much harder. I will change the background. I will not be sitting here all the time. I'm kind of stuck in my room right now. It's kind of small, so I'm going to move to a different space for the next episode. The next episode is in the works. Editing is taking a little bit longer than I thought because, hey, this is my first time, so be patient with me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please ask me on Instagram. I have my personal profile or the profile of this podcast. That's what P said on Instagram. And I would love to answer any questions you have. And yeah, that is it for the day. That is it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me know if you need anything. And remember, Don't get pissed if you heard something you don't like. This is just what I think. That's what P said. Anyway, have a good one. Bye bye.